Nasa system. Okay. Sisimula na ako talaga ha. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Yan. Magandang hapon. Hopefully kayong lahat ay chillin like ngayon. Ay, mukhang nagkamali ako ata sa settings nito. Ooh, my goodness. Yun. Nagbago. Yan. Okay. So, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Andito na tayo. So, bagong araw ng So, it's a new week. It's a new day. And ang ating pag-uusapan, the thing we're talking about, or I'll be showing you for today in Science 9 is okay, magandang hapon. So, the thing that I'll be showing today is the solutions to our problem set. I have given you the problem set on Thursday. Nakapagbigay po ako ng problem set sa inyo no Thursday, and it's time to show the solutions for you. Hopefully, you have passed your own copies, your answers to the solution set, and right now, kumbaga, tapos na po tayo. We're at the point where we will be answering these individual questions. I will be showing you the solutions, and then later I will be showing you which ones are graded or how do we give points to each of the problems. Okay, now, so here's I am managing 3 different streams at once. You can view me right now. Makita ninyo ako sa Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Google Meet. I've already sent the Google Meet link sa group chat, and you can always tune into me live sa YouTube Live and Facebook Live. So hi everyone. I know that some people, mga previous teachers na ako, mga other acquaintances, mga kaibigan from other places, makakita sa akin. So hello. Hopefully you have a cool afternoon. Hopefully you have a cool afternoon for today. So today I'll be showing you the solutions to our quarter 4 problem set 1 regarding projectile motion, specifically height, range, and time of flight. So I will be showing you here. I will be live writing the solutions on the whiteboards, and then we will be looking at our problem set. Okay, so I have given this problem set at Friday. So if you had the chance to answer it on Friday and chill on Saturday, Sunday, edi walang problema. Pero hopefully nakaswat ka mo sa inyong mga solutions over the weekend and even kalinas ang aga, so that you have submitted your problem sets. Okay, I am receiving both of them online and in paper form. So hopefully nakapasa ka mo. Wa ako sa campus sara, pero kung napasa ninyo sa inyong mga advisors ang inyong mga tubag sa problem sets, that would be counted as good. Pero kung masabot namin na siya. Okay? So, we will be solving 2 sets of problems, each with 4 questions. Okay? So, each one, we will be solving them one by one, and I will be showing you the process. So, lain-lain kita, I will be writing my solutions here. On my whiteboard. In fact, I have already written some of it in the whiteboard so that I can prepare. But over the next questions, we will be live solving it. Ara diri akong scientific calculator. If you have your scientific calculators with you, you can solve along. Okay? If medyo naglibog kung paano, sir, paano to yan, ano? Don't worry. We will be anticipating your questions so that we can address them. Okay? So, we'll start with problem number 1. Okay? So, most of my examples that I've used is in this field of sports. Most of the projectiles that we know about is in sports. Okay? So, we'll start with wait lang. Okay? I haven't done a sound check actually with the stream. Okay. Okay. Hopefully we still have sound over there at our streams. So just checking. Just checking. Okay. Okay, we're good at the streams. Now there's no more secrets. Okay, so we are live and alive on all platforms, Google Meet, YouTube Live, and Facebook Live. So we'll be talking about this problem set right here. So most of the projectiles that we know today are in the field of sports, ball sports, throwing sports, track and field, especially the throwing events. So we'll be talking about projectiles most often in sports. Now, let's talk about this first problem right here. So, problem number 1. During the annual school sports day, Jack, a talented soccer player, takes a direct free kick. So, a free kick is when a penalty or a shootout came out. So, it's between the goalkeeper of the opponent and the free kicker. So he strikes the ball with a speed of 20 meters per second. Okay, sometimes in word problems it's different. It's swapping. The word speed and velocity is used interchangeably, but for this problem it is used as speed, but we are talking about actually its velocity, and at an optimal 45-degree angle. Why do we say that it is optimal? Later on, we will be looking at the distances and some other key points about projectile motion. Okay, so let's have okay, why is it on 1.5? Okay, let's put it at here. Okay, so we have problem 1, question number 1. Calculate the time taken for the soccer ball to reach its peak height. How much time? What is the time taken for the soccer ball to reach its peak height? So, let's start with our first question. Okay? So, I've already written this to you, but we will be solving all of the other problems via live too. Okay, so we'll start with again. So actually this is AGSA. I have already introduced this to my previous students, but here's how I lay down a solution, especially to word problems. First, what is asked? Nanong gipangita naton nga quantity or value. It is the time for the ball or the soccer ball to reach its peak height. Pila ka segundo ang giwat bago makaabot sa igbaw ang aton, makaabot sa pinakataas niya nga naabtan ang aton bola. So, that is in physics terms, that is small letter t, or time to peak. And if we look at our our formulas right here, we can see that we can use formula number 1, or T is equal to VO sine theta all over G as our formula right here. So we need these given values. From our word problem, we have these given values. We have first your VO, or initial velocity. Lain lang ang pagkasulti diri sa aton problem set, but sometimes in word problems it can be used interchangeably. So with a speed of 20 meters per second, but the correct term for that should be velocity of 20 meters per second. May times ang gayon niya magka-interchange, or they are used interchangeably. Now, so we have your VO, or initial velocity, at 20 meters per second, and 20 meters per second, and your theta, or the angle of attack, at angle of the projectile, is right here, 45 degrees. You have your 45 degrees. Now, let's start with our solution. Since we want to know the time to peak of the projectile, we should be using the formula to calculate the time to peak. That is small letter t, that is time to peak, is equal to VO sine and multiplied to sine theta all over G. Now, this is our equation, this is our formula. Now we replace. Pulihan na naton sang aton mga values. Sugod kita sa VO, or initial velocity. Our initial velocity is 20 meters per second. So aton siyang pulihan. VO is 20 meters per second. Now, pulihan naton si theta. Theta is 45 degrees. So, sine theta is equal, or sine theta, mahimo siyang sine 45 degrees. Now, I know, nagipangatan ako gayud kay Ma'am Jane, kamo sarap pala ngayon kamo nagsugod sang inyo trigonometric functions. Now, I have also seen in your outputs for today, nagsugod-sugod na lahat kamo mag-substitute mag-calculate sang other mga trigonometric functions. So, we can use, for most likely, familiar na kamo sa sine 45. Now, sir, paano po namin to gagawin sa calculator? Okay, wait, bago pala tayo mag-calculator, may ara pa tayo last na wa siya naton nabutang diri sa given, but actually we have to always remember G is equal to 9.81 meters per second squared. G, the value of acceleration due to gravity. Okay? Kindly remind yourself, okay lang na wala ini siyang anak, but kindly remind yourself na given na lat ina siya, or constant na ang 9.81 meters per second. Okay, so let's put that in sa aton formula. So napulihan na sa VO, napulihan na si theta, pulihan natin si G. G is 9.81 meters per second. Okay, so pulihan natin sila. 20 meters per second multiplied to sine 45. All of that is divided by 9.81 meters per second squared. Now, ang makita ninyo, ang usa sa mga pinaka dali nga suguran, ari kita sa trigonometric function naton, sine 45. So, magsugod kita here in the calculator, sine, and then 45. Simple as that. And then, among magawas, 0.7071 blah 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 blah. Okay? Don't copy it, it is not a good practice to write it down na utdo lang nimo 7071. Mas may pa, Si calculator ang pamandaa. So, that is the value for sine 45. I-multiply naton inang word na ans. Naghinumdumi na siya na, ay, ang answer sang last na akong nagibuhat, amo akong gamiton sa sunod na akong operation. So, that ans multiplied by, nano akong pwede i-multiply? Kaning 20 meters per second. 20 multiplied by 20. So, we now have 14.4141213. Muna siya, akong gibotang dire. That is now the numerator. Amoy na siyang ara sa ibaw. And then, again, si calculator naton pabuhaton, i-divide na lahat naton, answer, okay, si answer na lahat. Kumbaga, kung na itong last na akong na answer, amo na lahat akong gamiton. Answer divided by, we have your G, the value of G, which is 9.81 meters per second squared. So, butang na to, 9.81. We have 1.4460439. Na naman ang units, sir? If we would trace it, may ara kita unit diri nga meter per second. Ara kita meter per second squared. If aton siyang i-arrange, we would use fractions, properties of fractions. Makuha naton na ang endpoint sang iya unit, ang iyang unit is in seconds. Now, as sa aton, sabot naton sa Science 9 that when we're talking about long numbers, not necessarily large but long numbers, may mga decimal points sa tubangan, may mga decimal point na nagsunod, may mga numbers na nagsunod sa decimal point, we will be rounding off to the nearest hundredth. Rounding off to the nearest hundredth. 2 decimal places lang ang aton makitaan. Now, so from here, we have ang hundredth place naton is the second 4. And then, ang aton tan-awon niya number is ang 1. Siyempre, it is lower than 5. Therefore, we make everything behind it 0 and we retain the hundredths place. So, mahimo siyang 1.44 seconds. Okay? So, kung may nakakuha man ng 1.44 seconds sa kanilang mga problem set, you now have a clear point. Tama na po ang inyong mga sagot. And then, sa answer, ang aton buhaton, ibutang siya in sentence form. One of the great habits na pwede ninyong gamiton gayud, not just in science but also in math, especially when you're talking about word problems, is to answer the question in sentence form. Okay? Di lang basta biyaan nga 1.44 seconds. What's that? I-explain. Paki-explain. So, ang word answer naton on this question, the soccer ball reached its peak height after 1.44 seconds. Okay? Meaning, naabot siya sa pinakataas, para maabot niya yung pinakataas nga, maabtan niya, the soccer ball, it needed 1.44 seconds of flight time. Okay? So, that's your answer for 1.1. Problem number 1, question number 1. Okay? Next, let's go for 1.2. Let's go for 1.2. Determine the total time the ball spends in the air before hitting the ground. So, nag-mention na kita sang total time. What could it be? Yung aton kinanglan i-calculate. Looking back at our formulas, we have number 2, full time of flight. Gaano katagal ang gilupad sang aton projectile. So, we will be using this formula right here. Big letter T is capital letter T is your full time of flight. It's simply just 2 small letter t. The small letter t is your time to peak. If you still want to calculate it from the values itself, it's simply just 2 quantity VO sine theta all over G. Mo lang siya. Now, let me show you two ways. May argyapay two ways. Again, we still go for the asked. What is the total time the soccer ball spent in the air? That is actually T. Pwede lat natin ibutang na total time of flight. Total time of flight. Pwede lat na siya. Pwede dire sa pikas, pwede naton time to peak. Okay? Now, again, we will still be writing down the same given values. Given values. VO is 20 meters per second, and then theta is 45 degrees. We also need to add G is equal to 9.81 meters per second squared. Okay, so that's your given values. Now, since we are cascading, nagka-cascade man ang aton mga you can go for two ways. One is that you call small letter t. So, kung gigamitan natin si small letter t, dapat kaupod siya sa given na small letter t is 1.44 seconds. Okay? So, dawat yung gyapon niya siya. If you have two variations to our solutions. One is gamiton natin itong previous natin na na-calculate, which is small letter t or time to peak. So, t is equal to 2 small letter t or time to peak. Now, ang aton namang buhat. Kita. Okay. Ay, isa lang nanonood. Hello po sa mga nanonood sa Facebook. Okay, I'm still checking on those who are watching in all our platforms. So, mana siya. We now have your solution. Asked, given, okay na siya. Let's go for the version 1, the shorter version of the solution. Simple lang. Capital T, full time of flight is equal to twice of time to peak. That is right here. Capital T is equal to 2 small letter t. So, we replace those values. T is equal to 2 multiplied by 1.44 seconds. Amo man na siya aton na-calculate kalina. Right here. Amo na siya aton na-calculate kalina. 1.44 seconds. Aton lang siyang gamiton dire. So, 2 times 144 is equal to 2.88. So, T is equal to 2.88 seconds. Now, if we would use the given values, initial velocity and the angle, launch angle, we can still use the other formula. Medyo masalaba, but it will be the same answer. T is equal to 2 multiplied to VO sine theta all over G. So, basically, kani siya, gikuha gyapan naton ang time to peak, pero aton lang siyang gi-multiply by 2. So, same gyapon na mga values. Wala na akong gibutang ang intermediate steps dire, but make sure that if you are using this one, may ara ka mo'y substitution na point. Okay? You will be substituting it. 20 meters per second, then sine 45 all over 9.81 meters per second squared. Inyo siya dapat nga pulihan. Makita naton na ang formula gipulihan naton sa mga given values. Okay? Before nga mag-simplify. Dili kay diretso simplified na lang ang makita naton. Okay? So, again, this is 1.44.160 blah 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 nga seconds. The value of whole thing right here is 1.44160 seconds ang unit. And then, we multiply it by 2. That's 2.88320 long. May mga decimal points pa na sa luyo. Seconds. Now, we will be rounding it off to the nearest hundredth. So, atong tanawan ng hundredth place. Ari siya dire. aton tanawon ang nagsunod sa iya, the 1000th place, ari siya dire. 3 is less than 5, so we make everything 0 and retain the values right here. So, aton himuon, 2 point, ini siya may mong 0, so this would become 2.88 seconds. Two different solutions, same answer. Now, for our word answer, the soccer ball spent 2.88 seconds in the air. So, nilupad ang aton nilupad, nag-projectile motion ang aton bola. And within 2.88 seconds, it is flying through the air. It is moving through the air. Okay? Ang iyang jagan is 2.88 seconds. Okay? Now, here's the fun part. Ang mga mahahabang solution na. Let's talk about the maximum height of the soccer ball. So, here's the live solution na gayod. Ipakita na natin. Live solution kita. So, let's calculate the maximum height that the soccer ball reaches during its flight. Okay? So, let me prepare. Yan. Hopefully, I don't have distracting noises on my back. Okay, so we'll be showing how to calculate for the maximum height that the soccer ball reached. Okay, so let's have our board right here. Right. I have my markers right there. Okay, so we'll be having 1.3. We have your asked. What is asked from the problem? We need to calculate the maximum height that the soccer ball reaches during its flight. Okay? So, sa aton asked, ang aton gipangita, what is asked is the maximum, sobrang liit naman, maximum height of soccer ball during its flight. That's what's being asked, the maximum height of the soccer ball during its flight. In short terms, we're looking for h, or maximum height. Now, let's look at the given values. Akon lang siya ipa-horizontal ha, but still, kinanglan natin maswat. Again, the given values are velocity initial, same values, 20 meters per second, and then we have your theta or launch angle, which is at 45 degrees. That is still the same given. Also, we have our constant g is equal to 9.81 meters per second squared. Acceleration due to gravity. Okay? So, all of these are our given values. Amo na siya ang aton mga given values. Amo na siya. Ini siya, technically wala siya sa word problem, pero kinahanglan man naton ni siya, so dapat naton siyang i-include. Okay? Now, let's go for our solution. This one's a little bit longer than the previous ones, but it's still the same process. Now, magsugod kita, what will be the formula na aton gamiton? What would be the equation that we need to use? Okay? So, now, later, kalina, gigamit naton ang time to peak and full time of flight. Now, we'll be using formula number 3, which is maximum height. H is equal to VO squared sine squared theta all over 2G. That is what we need to use. Now, ari kita sa aton board. So, we have written down the formula, and then we need to substitute those values. Let's start first with aton klaruhon. VO, ang aton VO, or ang initial velocity naton is pila? 20 meters per second. 20 meters per second. Now, dili lang siya basta 20 meters per second ha. It is squared. Naka-square ang aton 20 meters per second. Ayaw na siya kalimti. Next, ari kita sa sine squared theta. Ang aton lang pulihan is the theta. Sine squared. Nano ang theta naton? 45 degrees. It is 45 degrees. Now, sir, bakit ang wala namang, sir, paano yung sa calculator? Wala namang sine squared dyan. Paano mag-i-input ng sine squared? Okay? Later, ato na siya But then again, napakita ko na siya on another video. Okay? And then, G is 2. Butangan natin 2. And then G is 9.81 meters per second squared. Okay. So, we have now substituted, nagpuli na kita. We have changed these variables into their true values. Kipulian na natin. Now, here comes the fun part. Let's calculate these values. Pwede kita magsugod from left to right. Okay? Magsugod kita from left to right. Let's start with 20 meters per second squared. Ano lang na to? So, 20 squared. That's it. And then, simple lang kayo. That's 400. 400. Now, ang aton unit, meter per second. Kung aton siyang i-square, di ba mahimo yun na siyang meter squared over second squared? Kaya aton gidistribute naton ang power of 2 to both the numerator and the denominator. Tandaan nyo, baka alam ko, si Ma'am Grace ang nagturo niyan sa inyo. Shout out kay Ma'am Grace. Okay? Now, so this is the amo atong gamiton para sa unit. So, ang mugawas nga unit diri dapat is 400 meters squared over second squared. Peculiar, medyo kakaiba, pero kalmahin lang para makukuha niya natin to. Next, we have sine squared 45. Weird to. Now, sir, paano dito? Paano yan sa calculator? Ganito lang po yan. I-parenthesis nyo na daan. Mag-apply na daan kita. Sine 45 and then butangi lang sa squared. That's it. Because sine squared theta is just equal to the value of sine theta squared. That's it. So, amo ang aton gamiton sa aton calculator. This is how you write it in trigonometry. This is how you operate it in calculators. Okay? So, this is in makita ninyo sa trigonometry, ini sa mga calculators na to. Okay? Now, so, mo naton gamiton. So, once we calculate that, sine 45, parenthesis again, sine 45, and then close, squared, that's, 0.5. Simple na kayo. 0.5. May unit ba siya? Wala. Okay? Technically, your 45 degrees mo, wala na lang siya. And the degrees unit there is not, once mo agi siya sa sign, it's just an arbitrary number na lang. Wala siya units. All over. Next. Pwede let natin buhaton. Ari na kita sa next. Aton lang ano yung kuha. 9.81. First level of operations pa lang niya. Second squared. Now, ari kita sa sunod naton na operation. Akon siyang dadon diri ha. H is equal to. Ining mga ara sa igbaw, i-multiply na naton. So, 400 multiplied by 0.5, that is 200. 200, nano ang unit, sir? Si 0.5 may units? Wala. Si 400 may unit? Oo, meron siya, ara siya unit. Nanong unit niya? Meter squared over second squared. So, nano man ang units ang ila multiplication? Meter squared over second squared. Remember that. Ara siya sa aton numerator, H. So, 400 times 0.5, that is 200 meter squared over second squared. Next, second order of operations, ari kita sa ilaw. 2 multiplied by 9.81, we have 19.62. 19.62. Nano ang unit? Ang unit sa ating acceleration, which is meter per second squared. Okay, now let's go for the final operation. 200 divided by 19.62. 19.62. 200 divided by 19.62. We have H is equal to 10.193679992. Now, nanong units yun, sir? Paano yan, sir? Meter second over squared divided by meter or second squared. I can also express this portion right here. I can also express the portion right here as second multiplied by seconds over meter squared. Mali pala. Second squared over meter. Okay? Now, once na nag-multiply kita, mahitabo, mahimo ni siyang meter squared, second squared, all over meter second squared. Bali-bali. Now, this portion right here, pwede na akong tangtangon, mahimo ni siyang 1, kani maghimong m na lang, so this would be meter. Second squared divided by second squared, any number of the same power divided by the same number with the same power would just become 1. Same, s squared, pares lang naman sila, so that would become 1. So, ang mabili na lang, m multiplied by 1, so this would just be meter. Meter ang iyang unit. Right here. Now, so ara kita. So, sir, tapos na tayo. Oops, nakalimutan, hindi pa po tayo nakakapag-round off. Ang haba po kaya ng number na yan. Mas mabuti, ang aton sabot, we will be rounding them to the nearest hundredth. Nearest hundredth. Hain ang hundredths place, this one, 9. Hain ang aton tan-awon na value, here, number 3. It is lower than 5, therefore, we make all of this 0. Mahimo na siya ng mga zeros, and then we retain this value. So, H is equal to 10.19 meters. That is now our answer. Yan na ba ang answer natin? Siyempre, isusulat rin natin ang word and ang sentence answer. Ang sentence answer natin, the soccer ball reached a maximum height of 10.19 meters during its flight. Yan po ang ating sagot. Okay? So this is our answer for. This is our answer for problem 1, question number 3. The soccer ball reached a maximum height of 10.19 meters during its flight. Sa kanyang paglipad, naabot niya ang taas na 10.19 meters. Okay? Now, let's go for question number 4 with our sa aton question number 4. Let's go for question number 4. Question number 4. Determine the horizontal distance that the soccer ball travels from its starting point to where it lands. Clue na po agad. Meron tayong word na horizontal distance. And since we're talking about horizontal distance, it is the range of our projectile. Yun na lang rin naman ang ano natin, di ba? Yun ang hindi pa natin nagagamit na formula. Kaya nga, 4 na questions eh. Kasi 4 na formulas ang ginamit natin. So, magagamit natin siyang lahat. Now, we'll be talking about the range or the horizontal distance that the soccer ball traveled. Okay? So, we'll have our solutions again. So, we are now at problem number 1.4. We're talking about what is asked. Nano ang gipangutana sa aton? The horizontal distance, the soccer ball that the soccer ball travel. Amoy na ang aton kwaon. It is basically your range or big letter R. Now, same gyapon we have our given. That is still the same given values. VO is equal to 20 meters per second. Theta naton is 45. Theta naton is 45 degrees. And then, our constant, G is equal to 9.81 meters per second squared. Now, let's use we also have our formula right here. So, sa aton solution, we have R is equal to VO squared sine 2 theta, take note of it ha, 2 theta all over G. So that's our range. Now, sir, iba ang pagkakaano ha? Students, this is a different trigonometric function in itself. Inlain siya nga pagka-calculate ngayon. Okay? So, let's go with the substitution. R is equal to VO is aton magyapon 20 meters per second. 20 meters per second. It is squared. Now, sine, ang aton 2, nakapilit siya sa theta ha. Dili siya gi-square nato ng sine theta, but naka-multiply siya mismo directly sa aton theta. So, 2, ang aton theta is 45 degrees. And then, divided by G. G is, pulihan natin sang 9.81 meters per second squared. So that's it. Now, let's go for the calculation. Let's go for the first level of calculations. Nano man ang aton sugdan? Let's start with the leftmost operation, aton squared. So, parehas ganina, 20 squared, that is just 400. That is 400 meters squared, second squared. Then, muna na siya. Then, let's have the second level of it. This time, we're talking about sine 2 theta. So, namin niya siya. How do we set that up in our calculator? Simply, pindot ang sine, mag-abli kitay, open parenthesis, 2 times 45. And then i-close. Ang pasabot ana, this value right here, your 2 times 45, i-calculate anay niya na siya before kita makadto sa sign. Okay? So that would become just 1. So that would be just 1. And then, divide all of that to 9.81 meters per second squared. Okay. Then, ari kita, padayon naton, R is equal to, let's do the second stage of operations. Mga multiplication sang mga multiplication na kita. Now, let's start with 400 multiplied by 1. That's just 400 meters squared over second squared. Still, remember the units. Huwag niyong kakalimutan ng unit. Magkalimutan ng lahat, huwag lang ang units. Joke. Pero pwede naman kalimutan ng sakit, diba? Joke. Sinasamahan ko pa ng jokes and whatever. Okay? R is equal to 400 meters squared over second squared. And then, diretso na lang tayo. Wala nang 2 po dyan sa ilalim, ha? Sa range, walang 2 sa ilalim. So, that would become 9.81 meter per second squared. All of that, ang range na to will still have the unit meters. Range, so let's calculate it. 400 divided by 9.81. Ay, 81 pala. Mali. 400 divided by 9.81. Okay? So that would become 40.7747161967. That's from the calculator itself. 40.7747167 meters. And then, aton siyang i-round off to the nearest hundredth. 7. Ang aton nearest hundredth is 7. Ang aton tanawon is 4. It is still less than 5, so that would make all of these numbers 0 and retain the last value. So, R is equal to 40.77 meters. Word answer. The horizontal distance. Horizontal distance. Traveled by the soccer ball is 40.77 meters. So that's now our answer. Problem number 1, question number 4. Okay? Alam ko scheduled ito for 4 to 5, pero kulang po ang isang oras para sa para sa dalawang problem sets natin. So, since nasa chill lang naman kayo, nasa bahay lang naman kayo, I will be extending this live. Kung hindi na kayo makakapanood dahil may iba kayong lakad, don't worry, the video on demand of this live will be available at YouTube and Facebook. Okay? So, ipapakita ko po sa inyo. Now, let's continue with the second problem set. Okay? Napakahaba, pero it's the same process pa rin. We are talking about the same formulas but in a different situation naman. Ngayon, sa ating namang track and field athletics program, mag-ingay. Yan. Para po sa ating athletics program. We are talking about the track and field event, specifically the javelin throw. Okay? Actually, gusto ko sanang gawing discuss dahil medalist po ang ating discuss. Shoutout po dyan, Alex. Shoutout kay Alex na natin, medalist ng Cebu Provincial Meet. Okay, so we'll be talking about the track and field event. Okay, specifically the javelin throw. Okay, so track event, let's say we have Jade, one of the seniors, is up for the javelin throw. She launches the javelin at a speed of 28 meters per second, aiming it 30 degrees above the horizontal. Pag sinabi po nating above the horizontal, it's just 30 degrees from the ground. Parehas lang po. Iba lang ang pagkasabi. Ngayon, we'll be talking about, let's have number 1. Calculate the how long it takes for the javelin to reach its highest peak. So let's have our asked. Na naman ang aton asked. We are asked for how long it takes for the javelin to reach its highest point. How long ang aton gi-mention? How long it is time. So, butang yapon, how long to or aton siya i-rephrase on a different time for javelin to reach its peak or highest point. So we're talking about its small letter t or time to peak. So we'll have our given. Ari kita sa aton given. Ang given naton sa aton word problem sa second word problem nato, we have its initial velocity at 28 meters per second. So VO is 28 meters per second. Now, its launch attack or launch angle or its theta is right here, 30 degrees above the horizontal or 30 degrees. So that would be 30 degrees. Next, it is not mentioned in the word problem, but we always have, when we're talking about projectile motion, may ara katay constant na dapat i-include sa aton given. That is G is equal to 9.81 meters per second squared. Okay, so let me breeze through. Let me breeze through the solution. It's actually the same solution yapon. Same ang process sa atong gibuhat kalina, but we have different given values. Okay? So, solution we have here. So, I will be just commentating while I'm writing it down. So, small letter t is equal to VO sine theta all over G. That is for time to peak. You have your VO at 28 meters per second. Your launch angle is 30 degrees, so that would be sine 30 degrees. All over 9.81 meters per second squared. Now, ari kita. Let's start first with the simple, let's start first with our trigonometric function. Sine 30 is equal to 0.5. Madali lang pala. 28 meters per second, 0.5, all divided by 9.81 meters per second squared. Next, that's here. Next, ari kita sa t. At ari kita sa second level. Let's multiply 28.5 to 0.5 or sine 30. 28 multiplied by 0.5. Open. 0.5, that is 14 meters per second. We are carrying the unit of the initial velocity. Divided by 9.81 meters per second squared. Now, once ma-derive naton, the unit that will be remaining here will be second. So that is second na aton i-expect dira. Small letter t is 14 divided by 9.81. So we have 1.427115189 seconds. Now, let's look at the values itself. Let's round it off to the nearest hundredth. Ari kita. Hundredths place, look at here. 7 is higher than 5. So, we add 1 kita diri sa igbaw and make the rest of the values 0. So, that would be time is equal, the time to peak is 1.43 seconds. 143. Time to reach peak is 1.43 seconds. Let's write it down in a sentence. So, answer, we have it took. Pwede rin. It took. Bigla pumasok sa isip. It took 1.43 seconds for the javelin to reach its peak or highest point. That is the solution for problem number 2, question number 1. Okay, let's go for this one. Okay, actually pulihan ko lang yun siya. I can erase the black writings here and pulihan ko lang ang mga values because ano magyapon. Okay, we will be using the same formulas. Okay, pulihan lang na ako right there. And then right there. Madaya si sir, nagmamadali na. Okay, so still on question number, problem number 2, question number 2, the crowd holds its breath as the javelin slices through the air. Based on the time it takes to reach the peak height, calculate the total time the javelin is in flight before it hits the ground. Naglupad na ang javelin. Pero gaano kadugay ang iyang paglupad? We are talking about the total time of flight. The javelins total time of flight. That is big letter T. Okay? Now, ari kita sa aton mga given. VO is, pilagad to kalina, 28 meters per second. Ang aton angle is 30 degrees. And then, ang aton G is 9.81 meters per second squared. That's what we have here on the board. Now, you can go for the two approaches. One is gamiton naton ang previously calculated na value, which is, ang calculated value naton is T is equal to 1.43 seconds. So, we can use that in our first version of the solution. 1.43 seconds. 1.43 seconds. That would be 2.86 seconds. Simple as that. But if we would use the other version where we will use the initial velocity and the angle of launch, among gyapon na may tabo. 28 meters per second. And then sine theta is sine 30 degrees. And then G is 9.81 meters per second. If we will calculate that, diretsoon natin dire, pakita na kan sa inyo ang pagdiretso. So, sugod na kita. 2. Parenthesis. Magparenthesis otro ko kay para ang igbaw lang akong calculate. 28 multiplied by sine 30. Amo na siya. Ikaw daw nga parenthesis, ako nang nasirado. And then, i-divide na kon by 9.81. So, tanan niya ara diri kalina, all of this ining 28 multiplied by sine 30, nakaparenthesis na siya. Gi-treat na siya sang aton calculator nga usa. And then, ina siya, amo ang aton gi-divide sa 9.81. Sara, may ara pa ikatay sa kaparenthesis nga wa pa naton masira. Amo aton gamiton pang sira. Sini. So, this Ini nga portion nasira naton sa ka-parenthesis, ang ikaduha nga parenthesis amo ang nagsira sini nga tanan. Para sure kita nga ining 2 kay nakamultiply sa tibuok na kani. Okay? So that's a direct calculation. I would definitely suggest na amoy ninyo practiceon, masubay ninyo kung hain ang mga parenthesis para dili na kamo mag-swat pa sa inyong mga papel. Or answer pa ang inyong buhaton. Diretso na. Let the calculator do the work. But then again, you have to know the process. So once naibot nang nakon siya, so this would be 2.854. Mga na siya gapon. So sa calculator, muhimo siya nga mugawa siya nga 2.854. Mugawa siya dire nga 2.854230377. The unit expected here is seconds. Now, in nearest hundredth naton mahimo siyang once mahimo siya nga 100 or yan 1.427. So mahimo gid siya nga so around time is 2.85 seconds. Now, sir, paanong dilemma to, sir? Yung sa isang klase ng solution, nag 2.86 siya. Pero kapag dinirekta ko siya, nagiging pag nilong form ko siya, nagiging 2.85. That is rounding errors na po. Nag-round off ka na po dito kasi sa 1.43. Tingnan po natin dito, ha. Ang nakuha natin ay 1.427, ganyan. Na-round up siya. Kaya, any number after that will be rounded up to. Magra-round up rin siya. Paakyat rin. Meanwhile, dito, walang rounding na nangyari hanggang sa last step. Walang rounding na nangyari. Kaya lumabas na 2.85 seconds. That is the point of not rounding off while you are in the process or while you are calculating. Wag na wag magra-round off hanggat hindi pa final answer. Wag na wag ring puputulin ang number hanggat hindi pa final answer. Kaya ganito ang lumabas sa unang version ng ating solution dahil may na-round off ng value bago tayo mag-final answer. E paano yan, sir? 2.86 yung nakuha ko. Acceptable. Basta maipakita mo sa akin na ito ang ginamit mo. Sir, 2.85 ang nakuha ko. Gamit itong solution na to. Acceptable rin. Masabtan raman. Okay? Di naman nun. Pero kung ibang number ang nakuha mo, iba na yan. Ibang usapan na yan. But, both of these answers are acceptable. Okay? So, ang aton answer, ibot lang naton, the javelin, ang mas accurate na answer is actually the long form. Okay? Pero kung ang inyo gigamit is ang short form, okay lang na. The javelins, total time of travel is 2.85 seconds. Kadali ilang, no? 2.85 seconds is just like 2. Done. Just right around 3 seconds. Pero ang tagal na po nun. Especially when you're in the game, you're in the sport mismo, parang ang tagal ng paglipad na yun. Okay? So, drink your water, everyone. So, that's your problem number 2. Problem number 2, question number 2. Okay. Let's have question number 3. Now, curious spectators speculate on how high the javelin went during its flight. Compute the maximum height of compute the maximum height of the javelin achieves. So, now, madaya na si sir. Papalit-palitan ko na lang ang mga values dito. Asked, what is asked? The maximum height of the javelin during its flight. Now, aton niyo siya pamulihan. Di na ako magkaskas ang ako pamulihan lang na ako ng kinanglan na akong pamulihan. Now, during the maximum height of the, as we calculate for the maximum height of the javelin, we need these values right here. VO is 20, VO, aton siyang balik, or initial velocity. Initial velocity is 28 meters per second. Our angle of launch is 30 degrees above the horizontal. So, muna siya ang aton given. Pulihan naton. Let's replace the values. Like literally, replace lang the values. It will be the same process. I'm just showing you that it is the same process. Pulihan ko lang ng mga values sang mga numbers right here. So, 28 meters per second. Imbes nga sine squared 45 kalina, sara ay sine squared 30. Next, let's replace the values. 28, ang aton gamiton na formula is right here. H is equal to VO squared sine squared theta all over 2G. Now, pulihan naton. Let's calculate. First order of operations, ari kita diri. First order of operations, muna siya. We have 28 squared. We will have 784. Okay? And then, sine 30, sine theta. Okay, pulihan natin. Sine 30 squared is just 0.25. Ooh. 0.25 or 1/4. Uy, malalaman nyo yan sa inyong mga trigonometry with Ma'am Jane. Bakit ang simple ng mga numbers na nasa Bakit ang simple ng sine 30, sine 60, ng cosine 30 o ng cosine 60? May mga simpleng numbers yan. Okay? So, we have here 784 ang 784 meters squared over second squared. Amoy na unit. Multiplied by 9.81 na, nagkagulo-gulo na. 2 multiplied by 9.81 meters per second squared. So, let's replace this number right here. 784 multiplied by 0.25, that is 196. 196. Ooh. 196 meters squared per second squared divided by 19.62. Ooh, what's with this number? Bakit parang ang dali? Okay, so 196 divided by 19.62, that would become 9.9880632. That's short. Now, let's round it off to the nearest hundredth. Ari ang hundredths place, 8, and then ang atong tanawon is this one right here. Since 9 here is greater than 5, we add 1 to the hundredths place and make all the numbers behind it as 0. So mahimo siyang 9.99 meters. So that's our maximum height. So pulihan lang naton. Uy, kasayon. The javelin reached a maximum height of 9.99 meters during its flight. That is the solution for problem number 2, question number 3. Kita ba? Ayan. Question number 3. Okay? And then, let's have question number 4. Question number 4. The competitors and coaches are keen to just how far the javelin had been thrown. Ang labanan sa javelin throw ay ang palayuan. So they are keen to know, gaano kalayo ang inabot ng javelin na yun? So, calculate the horizontal distance it covers from the throw to the landing point. So, we are talking about the range of our projectile. Again, we still have the same values. We have hindi ko na napalitan yung mga sorry. So 2.4. Okay? Sige. Bago ko lumipat sa let me correct para may screenshot akong may i-share sa inyo mga estudyante. This is the solution for problem number 2, question number 3. Okay? So, na siya. Okay. Problem number 2, question number 3. And then, we have here your answer. So, puli-pulihan na lahat natin. Mabilis lang. Papalitan lang natin talaga ang mga given values. It's the same process, just with different values. Okay? So, 30 degrees, ang aton launch angle. Ang aton given velocity is 28 meters per second. Ang aton constant is g with 9.81 meters per second squared. Now, we have the same formula for range or horizontal distance. VO squared sine 2 theta divided by 9.81 meters per second. Now, pulihan naman natin. Pulihan ang mga values. We have sine 2, imbis na ang aton VO, that would be 28 meters per second. Ang aton theta is now 30 degrees. And then, aton siyang pulihan sa mga values. Again, we have 28 squared is equal to 784. And then, sine, ablihan natin, parenthesis, 2 times 30, meaning, kwaon anay natin na 2 times 30 before siya i-sign, that is 0.866, mahaba siya. So, para dili natin ma-sacrifice ang accuracy, pwede lang natin na isuwat ng 0.8660 diri sa aton papel, ang isuwat natin inana. Pero, sa aton calculator, dili natin i-reset. Amo aton gamiton, answer multiplied by 784. So, gimandaan ni calculator ang value ni sine 60 degrees technically. Sine 60 degrees kay 2 times 30 man. Siyang nagmanda niya, aton siyang gi-multiply sa 784. Wa kitay rounding, wa kitay truncation, wa naton giutod ang number. Kay gimandaan ni calculator. Next, ang mugawas nga value dire. Ang mugawas na value, iswat lang nakon siya for documentation sake, pero sa inyo calculator, ayaw pag i-reset para wa kitay utdon na mga numero. So, 678.9639166 meters squared over second squared. Muna siyang value. Pamandaan naton kay calculator, ina nga value, answer, divided by 9.81. So, si calculator ang nagmanda sina. Wa kitay giutod nga number. So, tungod kay wa kitay giutod na number, wa kitay rounding, wala kitay error na magawas. So, we have 62.21 140842 meters. Okay, let me verify that. I have my calculations right here. Okay, so you have your 62.21, and then we will be rounding it off. to the nearest hundredth. Hain man ang aton hundredth place. This first one right here, 1. And then, ang aton tanawon is right here. Since it is lower than 5, it will be retained ang aton hundredths place, and then all other values, all other numbers will become 0. So this would become 62.21 meters. So, pulihan lang gad naton, pulihan na lahat. The horizontal distance traveled by the javelin is, pila siya? 62.21 meters. So this is the solution for problem number 2, question number 4. Okay? So na-extend po tayo. So na-extend po tayo ng 24 minutes past our local programming talaga na dapat 5 p.m. But then again, I hope na ma-view gyapon ninyo siya on your own comfort at your own homes kapag may internet na po kayo. I will be sharing the screenshots of the process itself. And then, later on, I will be showing you, kumbaga, i-post ko lang ini siya ang solutions somewhere conspicuous sa campus para kung mapapadpad man kayo sa campus ay pwede nyo pa rin tignan. Okay? So, APE, still, we are on a break on APE. I'm preparing things for you. But then again, para po sa dalawang grupo na na-assignan ko na, sa agrikultura at sa industriya, kailangan nyo pong tandaan ang inyo kailangan gawin. So, by tomorrow, we'll be talking about a different topic. Sino kaya nahihirapan dito? We'll be talking about a fun topic that is very crucial in road safety. The things that we need to talk about kapag may mga gumagalaw na mga bagay. When we're talking about moving objects, we need to talk about how do moving objects gain and how do we describe their momentum, and when momentum changes, what happens? We'll be talking about impulse and momentum. I will be sending the modules as soon as I can para mabasahan na ninyo siya, and then we will have our discussions by tomorrow. Okay? Impulse and momentum on Science 9, and then on APE 9, pag-uusapan natin ang sektor na nagbibigay sa atin ng ating mga pangangailangan sa serbisyo. Kumbaga, paano tayo pinagsisilbihan ng ating mga kapwa mamamayan at paano nito natutulungan ang ating pambansang ekonomiya. Ang ating pag-uusapan ay ang sektor ng serbisyo, ang services sector. Yan po ang ating pag-uusapan sa Araling Panlipunan 9. Muli, so hindi ko alam kung I'll be checking out the lives sa YouTube. Hindi ko na na-check sa YouTube at sa Facebook. Sino mga nakatingin, sino mga nanood. Wow, meron pa palang nanonood sa ating YouTube, sa Facebook. Meron din. Sige lang, medyo mahirap rin naman talaga manood sa YouTube dahil medyo mabigat. Pero mas marami pa rin talaga ang maka-Facebook. Meron pong nanonood sa Facebook. Hello po sa inyo. And then later on sa mga sunod na adlaw, may share pa pala. Sa mga sunod na adlaw, we'll be talking about impulse and momentum on Science 9. At sa APE 9, pag-uusapan natin ang sektor ng serbisyo o paninilbihan. Yun lamang po. Maraming salamat po sa lahat. God bless and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye.